Hello everyone. This is a video I've been putting off for a long time, because once it's done, it means that space opera, in its original format, is over. It's over for good, and there's no going back. I don't want to ramble with this video, so I've written down exactly what I want to say. So here we go. This is a video I'm calling the Space Opera Retrospective. I'm going to go over the history of the show, why I made it, and something extra. I originally created Space Opera back in 2013 because I always wanted to create my own sci-fi show based on a starship. Star Trek was the obvious influence on this project, as was Galaxy Quest and a little bit of Stargate SG-1. I knew I wanted to make the show funny, but not like in a sitcom kind of fashion with obvious jokes meant to elicit a laugh. And that's when I had a bit of an epiphany. The show needed to be a satire. We've all seen shows or movies where the person in charge of anything, whether it be a military commander or the boss of a private company, was horribly incompetent. They clearly did not belong in a position of authority, and everyone else under their position suffered horribly for it. So I wanted to take that idea and put it into something like Star Trek. And that's how the character of Mike O'Hara was born. I knew for his design I wanted to go with a look that was dashing and heroic. I could then take a character who looks like he would save the day and turn him into a complete coward and scourge on his crew. Thankfully, Go Animate, now called Beyond, had just what I was looking for at the time. I didn't come up with any kind of special voice for Mike. I knew I just wanted to portray a person who was constantly on edge and near the point of a mental breakdown. Because as much as everyone else on the ship knows he's incompetent, Mike realizes it all too well. But for some reason, he's stuck with this job. So he's a very self-aware loser. And I wanted the voice acting to reflect that. What do you mean there's a problem with the engines?
I'm sorry, Captain, but it looks like we've burned a plasma coil. We'll be unable to go to hypervelocity for at least 2 hours.
We're going to hit the blockade in 5 minutes!
We might as well be flying in a hot air balloon, sir. Because that's all we've got to fight with. Air.
For Malek, I knew I wanted to have an alien-looking first officer. I loved the dynamic of Kirk and Spock from the original Star Trek, but with Malek, I wanted to turn up the snark with this character by a factor of 1,000. So after picking a design that fit my needs, I had to come up with a voice that fit the character's portrayal. And I don't know why, but I suddenly started reading Malek's lines in a stereotypical Boston accent, or a New York accent, or whatever passes for the northeastern United States. It just felt right for the character, and I continued doing it as each episode went on. I had no history of the character etched in my brain, but I think Malek gets a morbid kind of joy out of tormenting Mike. Call it a passive-aggressive behavior.
Therefore, to document these activities as they happen in real time for study, reflection, and preventive implementation in future altercations in enemy space.
There's not too much I can go into about the other characters for now because their backstories haven't been written yet. But I'll just go over some general info. Bobby King, voiced by my good friend Kaden Ptasznik, was based on the eager young space cadet from Duck Dodgers. I just needed a character whom I could order around or otherwise put in danger, and he was it. And Kaden played it to a T.
I was performing my duties like normal when all of a sudden...
Oh my god!
Which one of you is Captain Michael O'Hara?
And that's how I got here!
Dr. Gale, voiced by my friend Sayaka Mashiro, was very much inspired by Dr. Beverly Crusher from Star Trek The Next Generation, which was actually the first Star Trek show I ever watched. I look forward to writing more about this character and give her something more to do than be rescued. Anyone who's watched a show like Star Trek, or any of its spin-offs, knows how important the Doctor character is to the group dynamic. Getting that character right is paramount.
Well, I'm really glad that you're not a traitor. But can we hurry up and not die, please?
Lieutenant Zane was a fun character to write because I got to explore a more action and physical side to space opera that hadn't been presented yet. Once again, Go Animate had just the right look for that character. A powerful female officer who shares the same alien look that I went with for Malek. I just needed to find the right voice actress for her, and thankfully my friend Kathy Pfautsch, who plays Lily in my other show Emina, was available to play the character. I have a feeling this character probably likes Captain Mike O'Hara the least. And maybe with good reason.
I'm here. We're in a synthetic escape pod. Oh, and Commander, we need to talk to the captain.
About what?
It's them or us.
Oh.
And for the last member of the crew of the Bedekin Starship Pantheon, we have Chief Engineer Edward Gunner. In the original stories, I gave him no official rank, but I imagine he's probably a lieutenant commander, so maybe the third in command of the ship. His inspiration was Scotty from the original Star Trek, and I even asked my friend Marcel to do his best Scottish accent to portray the character. He did an amazing job with that performance, and I'm really looking forward to getting more into the history of that character going forward.
Well, that's the tricky part, Captain. I had to cut all power to life support, save for engineering. You should all be running out of air, right about... Don't worry, Captain. I'll have life support back on in no time. Captain?
Moving over to the villainous side of space opera, I knew I wanted the show to feature a powerful alien enemy, and I really liked the sci-fi staple of synthetics versus organics. So that's what I went with in creating the Synthetic Empire. The main issue, of course, was who would be the face of that enemy? I was making up space opera as I went along, so at the inception of the first video, the concept trailer, I really had no idea who would represent that enemy. So there was no General Gamma Orion at the time I made the first video, and there was no Queen Cynthia. These characters came about as a realization that I needed to give my hero characters opposition to go up against.
You are addressing your queen and master of the known universe, ruler of the superior species and harbinger of chaos. I am Cynthia.
How about it, ladies? Why not join the synthetic side? Your captain seems to care little about your physical well-being.
Let's say I believe you. How do we get off this ship?
First, you must swear loyalty to me, Queen Cynthia, and the entire synthetic armada.
So, I've talked about who the characters of space opera are, and why I make the show. I appreciate how a lot of you have really come to support the series as it's gone on, both as I originally created it on Go Animate back in 2013, all the way until now with my re-releasing the last episode, Escape. You probably noticed back at the beginning of the year that I released a small teaser video showing what could possibly be happening with space opera's future. Well now, for the first time ever in public, I want everyone to get a glimpse at what's coming next. This video only represents the concept of space opera's next step, not an exact preview. Think of it like a tech demo. Anyway, enough chatter from me. Enjoy the preview, and thank you all for your support of the show over these many years.